All right, Herc. Who's in a worse situation? Christian Pulisic at Chelsea or the American trio at Leeds?
Who's in a worse place? It's got to be the American trio at Leeds. Listen, Christian Pulisic's going to find a suitor. He's going to land on his feet. He's not playing, and it's not the first time he's not played. But let me tell you where Leeds is at the moment. They're 18th out of 20 in the Premier League in relegation zone. They've got a few games left. They need some help, okay? They got West Ham and Spurs. West Ham, I think, is mathematically safe. It'd be an impossibility for them to get relegated, but they're still trying to fight out and finish the season strong. And Spurs is fighting for European spots, whether that's Conference League or Europa League. We will see. What happens when you get relegated? It's a stain on your CV as a player. Your value goes down. When your value goes down, that means there's a restructuring in contract. There could be a sale going elsewhere. There's a fire sale going on. You don't know what's going to happen. There's uncertainty with you, with your situation. Maybe a Tyler Adams, you could say, is, hey, Tyler Adams will find a suitor. He's proven himself, albeit being the defensive midfielder of the worst defensive team in the Premier League. That's right, the worst defensive team in the Premier League. 71 goals against makes them the worst team in England, or in the UK, I should say, in the Premier League. Maybe he'll find somewhere to go, a nice landing spot. Maybe Weston McKennie will go back to Juve, and Juve certainly will say, hey, there's no room here. We're going to loan you out somewhere else, or we're going to sell you, and maybe the next place will be a place that he flourishes and it'll be a good level, maybe. Brenden Aaronson, maybe he ends up down in the Championship. Maybe that's going to be his level. Maybe there's a restructuring of contract. Maybe these players don't get back to the level that they once had in the Premier League. The devil that you know is what you want. Uncertainty is what you don't want, and that's what we're looking at when we're talking about these relegation battles. Christian Pulisic, he's been here, he's done that. Nothing's going to change because he's in this funk, in this bad season. Having a low Christian Pulisic on confidence come Nations League could be problematic, but three fundamental players to the national team, like Aaronson, like Weston McKennie, like Tyler Adams, come summertime for the national team, that's going to be problematic as well. So it's a sticky situation for these players in relegation zone. I'm not too worried about Christian Pulisic.
I don't know, man. At the end of the day, I'd rather be playing than not playing. That's why I'm choosing Christian Pulisic. Like, at least the Leeds guys, you painted the picture well. It's bleak. It doesn't look like they're going to stay up. West Ham, Spurs, tough competition in the last two, and they got ground to make up. Yet for all that hurt, at least Brenden Aaronson's going to play some minutes. At least Weston McKennie's going to start. At least those guys can have an impact, not just in whether or not Leeds stays up, but it's an audition for whoever else is out there. Because let's be honest, Mark Ogden was on this show, and he told us that if Leeds go down, it's likely that none of these guys are staying. McKennie's on a loan. Tyler Adams has proven he's Premier League level. And maybe, to your point, Brenden Aaronson stays, but I think Brenden Aaronson even gets a move. Christian Pulisic right now cannot even audition for what's next. And that makes me worry, Herc, that he's going to have very little value this summer, which is going to mean Chelsea's not going to be willing to spend him, to sell him. And that's going to end up with where we've been all along at Chelsea. Hopelessness for Christian Pulisic. We now know it's going to be Mauricio Pochettino. Maybe you're going to give me some hope there. You think he's the guy to finally bring something out of Christian Pulisic? Because at this rate, I don't think Pulisic's going to have many suitors this summer.
One could hope for Christian Pulisic. Listen, it's the same story of Christian Pulisic, rinse and repeat. It was like that with Frank Lampard. It was like that with Thomas Tuchel. It was like that after with Graham Potter. Hopefully, if he ends up staying at Chelsea, it won't be like that with Pochettino, but only Christian Pulisic can get himself out of this mess. And listen, you're swimming in deep waters. That's a reality. No team has spent more in world football as of late than Chelsea. That's a reality. So if you're there, you're going to have to fight off some big sharks, some big fish, some big players for some playing time. It is what it is for Christian Pulisic. But I'm thinking most likely he leaves. I mean, think if he stays for another year, they're going to lose leverage. I'm talking they as in Chelsea. They're going to lose a lot of financial ability to sell any type of, or leverage any type of transfer when it comes to Christian Pulisic. And he could even leave on a free. I don't think that's happening.
Yeah. I guess I'm just shocked at what's happened since Lampard arrived, because to me, we talked about on this show, we really thought that was going to be good news for Christian Pulisic. It has been the exact opposite. And I have to ask the question, where is that coming from? Because if you're Frank Lampard and you're in this, very unique role at Chelsea, you're trying things and nothing is working right now. There's not been an uptick since Frank Lampard arrived, and you're not using Christian Pulisic, a guy who, by the way, worked quite well for you when you were actually in charge of the club. This must be, to me, coming from somewhere up higher in the club, because there's no logical reason why Frank Lampard wouldn't at least roll Christian Pulisic out. If there's one manager at Chelsea who knows what Christian Pulisic can do, it's Lampard, and he's not even giving him minutes.
Frank Lampard has 2 wins in the last 20 games he's managed in the first division. You're trying to find logic? You're trying to find come on.
Touche.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.